House Bill 415, an act relating to the direct shipment of alcoholic beverages and declaring an emergency. Representative Koenig.
Gentleman from McCracken.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from Kenton 69 for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Kenton 69 for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a short version of this and a long version of this. I'm going to give the people what they want, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. And what the people want is a good cleanup bill, frankly. We have before you House Bill 415, which is the same number as last year's direct shipment of alcohol bill. Just for the new members, we passed this bill to allow people the ability to ship alcohol directly to their home in a wet territory if they're over 21, and all the other rules and regulations that are needed to make sure that's done properly. And it was groundbreaking legislation that's become a model in other states. We have 15 other states that are actively looking at expanding their laws so that they can get in our terrific Kentucky bourbon into their state. But with any piece of legislation like that, we need to make some changes as we implement it and see how it's going. So the bill itself that passed out of committee, the highlights, it allows for wineries and distilleries to use fulfillment centers. That is something that was in the bill that we passed last year. We thought that was clear. ABC, in their expert legal opinions, thought differently, so we're making it clear so that that can be done. And your wineries in California and other states like Washington use these fulfillment centers, and that regulation has impacted our ability to get all the products that our constituents would like to get, so we're making that clear. Requires out-of-state manufacturers to provide a current copy of their state license so that ABC knows it's current and in good standing in its own state. Gives full faith and credit to another state's recognition of a winery or distillery. We expect the same thing from those other states when it comes to our distillers, wineries, and breweries, and we're recognizing theirs. Uses the Kentucky Secretary of State as a registered agent for service of process. This gives the ABC a way to serve administrative citations for any violations and allows the Kentucky citizens the right of information it needs to sue an out-of-state manufacturer, and requires registration from the Department of Revenue for tax collection purposes. In addition, it allows our Kentucky distillers to pay their own taxes and move their own product in certain transactions. This is intended to create parity for distillers so that they are situated similarly with the craft beer folks, which was in a bill I passed in 2018. It allows Kentucky distillers to ship samples to the media so they can get the press necessary to get out their product, and eliminates an antiquated provision that presumes if you have more than 3 gallons of alcohol in your home, you must be selling it. That is the bill as it passed committee. We have a few amendments, as you can see on the board, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to yield to the gentleman from Graves for a friendly amendment.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Graves.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to call House Floor Amendment 1.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to House Bill 415.
Gentleman from Graves.
House Floor Amendment 1 is a very simple amendment. I'm bringing this on behalf of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. On page 20 of the bill, line 17, the word retail licensee was struck out and the word retailer inserted. My amendment simply flips that back to the original language. Move for passage.
Motions for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion? Roll call having been called for by 2 or more members. Clerk will sound the chimes. Those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Roll call machine is open for your vote. All members voted. Clerk will take the roll. Being 85 members voting aye, no members voting nay, House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Kenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask that the clerk report House Floor Amendment 5.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 5 to House Bill 415.
Gentleman from Kenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment does several things, a couple items for the retailers that they requested, a request from ABC to help them provide better enforcement, and I mentioned the paying of taxes for distillers. They'll be able to pay these taxes themselves rather than the wholesalers paying those taxes, which the wholesalers currently get 1% of, and instead of that money going to the wholesalers for paying the taxes for product they don't actually touch, that money instead will go straight to the general fund. So more general fund revenue, no increase in taxes. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, move adoption of House Floor Amendment 5.